Live from Katie O'Byrne's, it's the Bud Light Super Bowl Send-Off with Levack Goz on the team.
It is Goz here with you. Levack is off today. Filling in for him, Brian Mariano. They call him the closer for reasons like this. Filling in when the time is right and giving a great performance. But closer, it's now your time to be a part of Monday Mirages. We look back at the weekend that was in sports, and we try to figure it out. Did we see something that has some type of staying power? Is it going to last? And is it going to be real? Or is it just a mirage? Is it just a 1 week and then it's gone? We start with the first one here. Real or mirage? The Bryce Petty era has begun for the New York Jets.
Guys, that is absolutely real.
What?
The Bryce Petty era has begun for the Jets. It is his time to shine. He's going to prove the next 3 games that he is here to stay and will be under center next year for the New York Jets.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know they played the San Francisco 49ers.
I do.
You know he did not throw a touchdown.
They're still a professional football team. I know. It's okay.
You know he almost blew the game in the first quarter by how bad he played.
No, he did not.
Horribly.
No,
terribly.
Stop. And then if he almost blew the game, then he comes all the way back, leads them back to win in overtime. He was the one that set the energy for that entire team. They were all rallying around him, and it was he was the reason why they won that game.
Don't do this to poor Jets fans. Don't let them fall victim to one good game over the San Francisco 49ers. We'll ask this again next week. Right now it's mirage for me. Bryce Petty needed to show me more, and I'm one of the people from weeks ago that said the perfect time to play Bryce Petty would be against Indianapolis and San Francisco. And it happened. He got the start. And for me, he underwhelmed. He didn't have a monster game. The guy who had a monster game was the backup running back, Bilal Powell. Now, was he tough in the matchup? Did he impress me for how he stood in the pocket and took hits? Especially a guy who comes from Baylor, programs like Baylor, Houston, Texas Tech. When you're throwing the football a lot, you get kind of labeled as a soft quarterback, a finesse-style offense.
Nope.
Yeah, he did impress me with that. But let's relax. It's 1 week against the worst defense in the NFL. I'm not ready to say Bryce Petty era has begun. Don't buy the 9 jerseys yet, Gangrene fans. Here for number 2, real or mirage, the New York Giants are the best team in the NFC.
Now, guys, even though I sit here with my vintage Brandon Jacobs jersey on, that is a mirage. The Giants are not the best team in the NFC yet. They're well on their way. Their defense is improving. The offense really needs to step up, though. Offensive line has been atrocious all year. The running game
Eric Flowers.
Not to name names, but
okay.
Yes, that's exactly correct, yes. The running game's been non-existent. So it's really hard for Eli Manning to get the ball into his playmaker's hands when he's on his back.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he's getting sacked, and the reason why he fumbled all the time is because Eric Flowers is a turnstile on the left side of the offensive line. He's getting killed on the backside every time. So that is absolutely mirage. In 2 weeks, we might have to do it again. It might be real, but right now, it is absolutely mirage.
For me, and I'm not doing this to kiss up to my co-host who's filling in today, who is in a Brandon Jacobs jersey, for me, it's real. The New York Giants are the best team in the NFC. Who else do I believe can win that conference? And I say, yes, this is the team. The Dallas Cowboys have lost twice to the Giants, if you want to make that argument. Yeah, no doubt about the Eric Flowers situation being an issue. But they've been able to overcome that twice. The Seattle Seahawks just got crushed by the Green Bay Packers, and I've said it for weeks now. I don't get the Seattle love. The secondary's older. There's no running game. They don't have an elite wide receiver, and Russell Wilson's been hurt for the majority of the season. And they don't have Earl Thomas. So people are buying Seattle. I just don't get it. Detroit, now Matthew Stafford's injured. And the Detroit Lions have not made a history for their franchise of performing in the playoffs. And we don't know what's going to happen in the NFC South. Is it going to be Atlanta? Is it going to be Tampa Bay? And are we ready to say that team's a Super Bowl team yet? I don't think so. The team I have the most faith in to go deep in the NFC is the New York Giants.
Sure you're not putting your little Bucks pants on to say that
we're gonna, don't you worry. Next Monday, the Buccaneers put up a good performance against the Dallas Cowboys, possibly beat the Cowboys. We're going to have a different discussion about who the best team in the NFC might be then. Number 3 here on Monday Mirage is Real or Mirage. This is a future one. Rex Ryan will finish the season as the Buffalo Bills head coach.
Guys, this is absolutely real. There's no doubt that he will finish the season as the head coach. You cannot put what's happening here on him. They haven't had Sammy Watkins for most of the year. They lost 3 defensive players to start the year.
They did.
Tyrod Taylor has been okay, but you can't put the fact that they have lost players on him. That's not his fault, and they're still, like we were talking earlier, could possibly be 9-7.
Could be 9-7, exactly.
And they're going to get rid of their head coach. I beg people when they're ready to run people out of their organization, who can you get that's better than him? If there's no one better than Rex Ryan, you have to stay with him. That it makes no sense to me to get rid of Rex Ryan here, guys.
I'm with you. I'm real. I mean, Rex Ryan has to be the guy going forward. Now, I get what Bills fans are going to say to us. They're going to say, closer and Goz, Rex Ryan, if he goes to 8-8 the season with Buffalo, has not had a winning season as a head coach since 2010. They're going to say this team was better when Doug Marrone was coaching, and Rex Ryan has actually made the team worse. That's what they'll say. But you just laid it out perfectly. It's been injuries. It's been the division getting better. It's been Tyrod Taylor learning as a quarterback who had never been a starter before what it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL. And we're hearing discussions about Cardell Jones. Fans want him to play. Why? The biggest thing is that Tyrod Taylor's making mistakes. He's not hitting the open receivers. He's not making the right reads. Cardell Jones is a physical specimen out on the field, but the reason he hasn't even been in the discussion to play is he doesn't know those reads. He doesn't know the right targets. He played in about a handful of games for Ohio State. Cardell Jones is not ready. It feels like we're talking about the Jets 3 weeks ago. Now we're talking about the Buffalo Bills out of playoff contention. People question the coaching and want to see the young quarterback. And if you want to invest $30 million if Tyrod Taylor's on this roster by mid-March, that's why they want to see him. But I'm with you. Give Rex Ryan another year. He might have the best record of a Bills coach in the last almost 20 years. We're going to move on to number 4. Real or Mirage, Army versus Navy football is the best rivalry game in North American sports.
Ooh, that's a tough one, guys. That's a good one. I'm going to say Mirage, because if you're looking at it in a patriotic sense, I would probably agree with you and say Real. But in the actual game itself, this was the first year in 15 years that the game was competitive?
Yeah.
Army hasn't won in almost 15 years.
2001 the last time, yeah.
So it really comes down to the fact rivalries need a little bit of, yin and yang. So when the Red Sox and Yankees were really good in 2004 to 2010, even in the early 2000s, Duke and North Carolina, one of the best college basketball rivalries going. Even USC and Notre Dame in football, one of the best ones going there. Even though both of the teams haven't been that great recently, USC had a big turnaround this year to make themselves relevant. But of course, Notre Dame, my Notre Dame Fighting Irish, were not relevant at all.
No, they were not. They were not.
It was not very good at all. But Army-Navy, if you're talking patriotic-wise, I would say Real, but in the football sense of it, it's absolutely a Mirage.
I'm going Real here, and here's why. Because there's no other rivalry in sports where the teams actually break their huddle and say, go Army, beat Navy. Beat Navy, go Army. That's how they end every practice. And it really is. You ask the guys for Army. They're good enough to go to a bowl game. Their record's good enough.
Yeah, both are, yeah.
But they care about beating Navy. You ask them what means more to them, the bowl game coming up or beating Navy. They'd also be beating their rival. There's few, if any, games you can count on your hand that you say beating your rival is more important than what happens after you beat your rival. And that's what happens in Army-Navy football. And now there's a reason why that weekends by themselves, and maybe Vern Lundquist and company having that final game meant a little bit more to me this year. But it was cool watching Army take down Navy and get that win for the first time in 15 years. 2 more for you here on Monday Mirages. Closer Brian Mariano filling in for Levack here live at KDO Burns. Real or Mirage, Louisville quarterback Lamar Jackson deserved to win the Heisman Trophy.
This is absolutely real, guys. Lamar Jackson had one of the best seasons I think we've seen in a long time. And he's just a special, special player. What he can do, both running and throwing, is what we haven't seen since maybe Cam Newton recently.
Yeah,
I mean, he's really talented. And I understand a lot of people don't give him enough slack because of the finish that Louisville had. But this kid is a special player. And, of course, he's coming back, guys.
Yes.
This team could be one of the best teams coming out next season. He absolutely deserved to win the Heisman. He was the best player in college football all season. I don't think there's ever a doubt. You were there. Do you agree?
Yes, Real. My vote, I'm lucky enough again for the second year in a row to represent the Capital Region when it comes to Heisman Trophy voting. My vote went to Lamar Jackson. I'm willing to hear an argument for anyone else besides Lamar Jackson. Because if they did want to argue me with that, I have no clue what in the world they'd say.
That's
the
Twitter at Tom Goz.
TOMGOZZ. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how it wasn't Lamar Jackson. I get his team tailed off, but he deserved that win the award. From the stats to the impressive to making Louisville football relevant, it was Lamar Jackson. By the way, the youngest ever Heisman Trophy winner in the history of that award. Oh, we will close with this closer. Real or Mirage? John Cena did a good job hosting Saturday Night Live.
Ooh. I would probably go real here. I love John Cena. I
Okay.
love John Cena. I think he's one of the most exciting people out there. He's always, his charisma really just draws you in. And honestly, who else were you going to get to do skits like that? I love John Cena. I think he's hilarious.
I'm going to go... Boy, this is tough.
And you're the one that always is into the
I know,
WWE.
I am, man. And
you're the guy.
And the reason I bring this up is because the skit that's gone viral involves sports. It involves John Cena playing an Alabama football player who's doing a presentation about fruits, and bananas and oranges, while everyone else is working on like these incredible things.
Love it.
So Alabama football gets crushed by John Cena. I'm going to go with real too. The problem with Cena is that he is so jacked out of his mind, his muscles. What are you supposed to have him do besides play the jacked out of his mind muscle guy in every skit? They didn't let Cena test out his versatility a bit, he made me laugh. So
well, he could play like a Channing Tatum in like 22 Jump Street, 21 Jump Street, like a guy like that. All of a sudden he comes back and he's the geek, and some of
they could have had something to do, something like that. I like the one where he did the Hulk or the Hunk, like the Hunk, which is like one of the early sketches, which actually that was pretty laugh out loud funny. So, and that was Monday Mirages, finding out what was real, what was a mirage.